let's bring in Shahar Azani, former Israeli diplomat and former spokesperson for the Israeli consulate in New York. I'm baffled, frankly, at some of these anti-Israel protests and the methodology that they are taking, trying to keep people from going out and doing their holiday shopping. It doesn't seem like a very efficient way to accomplish your protest, but I want to get your thoughts on it. What are they doing? What's behind it?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, John. You're absolutely correct. There isn't much logic in making themselves more hated by the majority of the American public that's already in support of civilization versus barbarism. But there is a greater issue here at hand. When you think about what happened to the Palestinians and to the Gaza Strip, the reason why the Gaza Strip is in such a catastrophic situation is the evil terrorist organization Hamas. So if you really do care about the Palestinians, then you should demand that Hamas be removed from any kind of control over Palestinian lives. And indeed, John, the IDF soldiers, as we're making our way into the Gaza Strip and the Hamas stranglehold over many Gazans is removed, there are quite a few of those Gazans who come forth to the IDF, thanking them for being there and expressing the relief that Hamas is away from them. So this is not pro-Palestinian, this is pro-terrorist mob who are interested in defacing and undermining not just Israel, but also the West values and the United States of America.
In Alexandria's report just now, she had that one interview with a guy in Chicago who says, the Biden administration and the Congress and the Senate have blood on their hands for supporting what's going on in Gaza. I wonder if that guy was watching television on October 7th and October 8th.
Well, so many of them don't really care about the facts, but rather whether it's willful ignorance or whether it's malice. And we're also witnessing, John, the tragedy of the TikTok generation, where we're seeing support for the Bin Laden letters. So there are a lot of issues that we have to contend with as a society. And I'll even mention to you, John, the report that was published today about Hillcrest High School in Queens, New York, where a teacher who dared to go to the March for Israel in Washington, D.C. and posted about it on social media, was harangued by a mob in the school. I mean, it's unbelievable the level of depravity that we're reaching, and it's a warning sign for us all. It tells us that we have a lot to deal with right here in the U.S. when it comes to educating our public.
Yeah, we talk about low information voters. These are low information protesters in my book. But how do you turn that around? I mean, there seems to be so much animosity directed toward Israel. How do you fix that?
I'll tell you, I have to tell you, John, that the truth is that the louder they are, the smaller they are. And we could see it during the Thanksgiving parade in New York, where you had a couple of anarchists, pro-terror, who came and disrupted the parade. And the only sound you heard, John, was them being booed by so many people around them. The truth is that I am actually heartened by the support of the majority of the justice and peace-loving people of the United States and around the world who are showing support, because they're making a lot of noise, but their impact is absolutely zero. And Israel is extremely determined to move forward, not just with releasing those innocent hostages from Gaza, but also eradicating Hamas, making sure that it's no longer on our southern border, because the attack that came from Hamas is an Iranian proxy. And the attack was against Israel and the United States foreign policy, undermining the prospects of peace with Saudi Arabia and other moderate Arab countries. Remember, that was the main conversation only a few weeks before the attack at the United Nations.
Yeah, it seems like the Iranians don't like to get their own hands dirty. They like to send their proxies out to do all their dirty work for them.
We say that, John, that the Iranians will fight until the last drop of blood of Yemenite Houthis, of Palestinians, of Shiite Lebanese, but you're absolutely correct. But make no mistake, the Iranians are involved in everything and anything that's happening in the region, in the continuous destabilization in the Middle East, and it goes far beyond their support for Hezbollah and its operation of the drug trafficking networks in South America that reach our borders. So all of this is before us, And like I always say, post October 7th, not just Israel has changed, but the general world will change and its policies vis-a-vis such evil actors.
Shahar Azani, we appreciate your insights tonight. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to be with you, John.